Whoever wishes to understand the rise and fall of Germany
historical content.
Whoever wishes to understand the rise and fall of Germany only needs to look at the story of a city such as Wilhelmshaven, once a place without purpose or future. Today it resounds with the sound of labor and creation. It stands as proof of what determination can achieve. This city's first great rise came with the rise of the German Reich, a Germany that desired peace. At that time, while many of the so-called peace-loving nations were engaged in wars across the globe, Germany sought only one goal: to secure peace, to work in peace, to improve the life of its people, and thereby contribute to human progress and civilization. Within our borders, we worked tirelessly with diligence and precision to build a better future. Beyond them, we sought our rightful place among nations, not through conquest, but through fair competition and achievement. For decades, this peaceful Germany was a guarantor of stability and order in Europe. Yet even as we built, others watched us with envy. They saw in our progress not cooperation, but competition, and responded not with friendship, but hostility. History now records how England, in those years, pursued a deliberate policy of encirclement. Germany was not defeated in the field, not on land, sea, or air. We lost not to armies, but to deception, to the power of lies, to propaganda that twisted truth into poison. Our enemies claimed victory through manipulation, not through courage. And when these same statesmen speak today of the rule of law, let us remember that their own actions broke that very law. Their so-called justice was dictated, not earned. The eternal right of every nation, the right to live, stands higher than any imposed decree. Providence did not create the German people to obey laws applauded by others, but to fulfill its own right to life. That is why we are here today. If British statesmen now believe that all the world's questions can be solved through polite conversation and discussion, I can only say you had 15 years for such talk. 15 years when Germany was silent, humiliated, and waiting. You did not speak then. Now the world is divided into two categories: the nations that call themselves virtuous and those they call unworthy. England and France claim virtue. Germany and Italy, they say, do not possess it. But perhaps it would be best to leave the judgment of virtue to God Almighty rather than to mortal men. And if these virtuous nations believe that their vast empires, a quarter of the world's surface, were granted to them by divine favor, then let them answer this. By what means did they acquire such dominion? Surely not through virtue. For centuries, England has acted in ways that cannot be described as moral or just. And now, in its old age, it speaks of virtue. If a British leader demands that all matters touching German interests be discussed first with England, then I might just as well demand that all British questions be discussed first with us. It would be absurd. The English tell us the Germans have no business in Palestine. Indeed, we have no wish to be in Palestine. But just as we Germans have no business there, the English have no business in our lands, in our Lebensraum, here in Europe. They claim that their actions are guided by law and legitimacy. But what law grants them the right to shoot Arabs in Palestine who resist foreign domination? Who gives them that authority? We in Central Europe do not slaughter thousands. We handle our affairs calmly and with order. And let it be clear, today's Germany, today's Reich, will not surrender its vital interests, nor will it stand idly by while danger grows at its borders. When the victors of the last war drew new lines across Europe, without regard for peoples, traditions, or logic, we were too weak to resist. But those days are past. If anyone now believes that Germany will patiently watch as foreign powers build hostile states around us, they mistake this nation for the Germany of old. Whoever chooses to serve as a pawn for those powers should not be surprised when he is burned by the very fire he helps to kindle. We harbor no hatred toward neighboring peoples, For years, Germans and Czechs lived side by side in peace. The English statesmen who lecture us know nothing of this. They do not know that our hands built the castles and cathedrals of Bohemia, that our kings once received homage on those same hills 1,000 years ago. We know this, and that is enough. For a millennium, this land was part of the German world. We would have accepted an independent Czech state if it had not oppressed its German citizens and been used as a weapon against us. Even foreign writers have admitted that Czechoslovakia was meant to serve as a base for air attacks on Germany, its industrial heartland. If that was true, were we to wait until the attack came? Number, we took action before it was too late. We restored order to a region already breaking apart from within. We reunited what history, geography, and common sense demanded to be one. This was not an act of conquest, but of necessity. We have not destroyed a people. We have prevented destruction. We have rendered a great service to peace by removing a weapon that others would have used to start another war. Germany has no intention of attacking other nations, but we will not be told by others how to manage our affairs or where to expand our trade. The German right has every right to strengthen its economy, to seek prosperity through honest work, and to exchange goods with the world. We are producers, yes, but we are also consumers. We pay our way fairly and stand by our obligations. What we refuse to accept is intimidation. The idea that Germany must be encircled, contained, or controlled. Those who think this is possible mistake the Germany of 1939 or the Germany of 1919. I once concluded a treaty with England, the naval agreement. It was based on the shared belief that our nations should never again be enemies. We still hold that belief, but such an understanding must be mutual. If England no longer desires this friendship, then let it be known. Germany will not be the one to tremble. We are calm because we are strong, and we are strong because we are united. And in this city, Wilhelmshaven, a city built by German hands and German spirit, I call upon all who listen, look around you. Look at what we have created. Let no one deceive you about the most essential condition for life. Strength. For whoever loses strength loses the right to exist. We have seen this truth in the past 15 years. It is because of that lesson that I rebuilt Germany. Strength on land, at sea, and in the air. And now that other nations openly declare their intention to arm without restraint, I say this to them. You will not exhaust us. We shall continue to move forward, step by step, faster than those who would stop us. No one on this earth shall ever disarm Germany again through mere words or threats. But if any power believes it can test our will by force, then it should know the German people stand ready. We are prepared and determined. And we do not stand alone. There is one nation that shares our conviction, that marches with us in loyalty, Italy. This bond between Germany and Italy is not temporary, not a convenience of politics, but a natural and lasting alliance. It is born of shared ideals, of mutual respect, and of a vision for Europe. Our future, our enemies claim this axis will break apart. They say it is unnatural. It is built upon reason, strength, and belief, and it will endure far longer than the fragile alliances of those who share nothing but fear. And to those who now praise the union between England and Soviet Russia, I say, if such nations can truly stand side by side, then the world will at last see that democracy and Bolshevism are but two faces of the same coin. They claim to be opposites, yet they meet on the same ground, in hypocrisy, in deceit, in destruction. Meanwhile, across Europe, nations are awakening. In Spain, a people once ravaged by civil war has freed itself. Men, women, and children who suffered under tyranny now breathe freely again. We rejoice with them. We honor those who fought to restore order and independence to their homeland. Many young Germans stood beside them, fulfilling their duty to help another nation regain its right to live. They fought not for conquest, but for the triumph of order over chaos. We see how quickly former critics now change their tone. Those who once supplied arms to the side of disorder now rush to trade with the new Spain. This change reveals much about the world, about the nature of those who call themselves defenders of virtue. And I tell you, what has happened in Spain is but the beginning. Nation after nation will face the same choice we faced: surrender to chaos or fight to preserve order. We have fought and we have prevailed. We have built a national Germany whose only wish is to live in peace with others, but that will never again submit to humiliation. Will the world become fascist? I do not know. Will it become National Socialist? I do not believe so. But I am certain of this. The world will one day rid itself of the destructive spirit that divides peoples, that sets nations against each other, that thrives on hatred and deceit. When that day comes, there will be reconciliation among nations, not through treaties written on paper, but through mutual respect and understanding. Until then, we rely upon ourselves, we trust in our own strength. When I took power, Germany was torn apart within, weak without. Today we are united and strong. Our economy thrives, our people work, and though we may not be loved abroad, we are respected, and that is what matters. We have brought happiness to millions by reuniting them with their homeland. We have brought peace and stability to Central Europe, protected by Germany's might. No power on earth will break that might. Let the world remember, 2 million Germans did not die in vain in the Great War. Their sacrifice has given birth to this strong and youthful right. And we, who inherited their legacy, will not shrink from sacrifice should it again be required. Let others sign papers and make promises. We no longer place our faith in words, but in the strength and unity of our people. We were once betrayed by the greatest breach of promise in history. We shall not be deceived again. If we remain united, no power on earth shall ever threaten us again. Peace will endure, because we shall preserve it by our will. And then our nation will flourish, working for peace, for culture, for progress, with all the diligence and creativity that are the hallmarks of our people. This is our faith, this is our hope, and this is our belief in Germany's future.